The Talking Turkey Theology podcast begins in 3, 2, 1.
No turkeys were harmed in the making of this podcast. The Talking Turkey
Theology podcast. And now, here's Rodger and Øystein.
Well, good morning, Øystein. It's soon not morning anymore, but this morning, I just had some thoughts, and I wanted to talk. Well, I wanted to just have a chat, really. I mean, this is called the Talking Turkey Theology podcast.
Yeah,
but I think
quite a long name, is it?
It's quite a long name. You know, you could shorten it to Talking Theology, which is like, as our website is Talking Theology. Mm-hmm. But I think today, I'm not sure we're going to be talking so much theology. I think it'd be more of a mixture between, you know, psychology or leadership psychology or personal leadership, whatever it is. I think it's more in that kind of area. Also about, you know, fearing God, fearing man, and what does that mean in today's language?
Yeah. Because
we hear that at church, or we hear that from other Christians, maybe, you know, don't fear, fear God, but I'm muddled up already. That's okay.
Right. Yeah,
that's okay.
No, you're doing good.
About fearing God, not man. So, and how does that work in our lives? Also about when you look at serving in church, or serving in your family, or serving other people. What are your motivations? Are you a people pleaser? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Or are you, or do you just say yes to everything? Do you say no to everything? Or do you find a good balance in your life for these things? I must admit, Øystein, I'm not, you know, this is something I've struggled with in my life.
You must be the only one.
Yeah, I guess I am. This is definitely something I've struggled with in my life, because I love to help people, and I think it's probably one of my spiritual gifts is helping. You know, the gift of helps, being able to help people practically, or with a problem, or a solution, or you know, offering my help to do something. I used to fix computers, you know, and lots of people would ask me, could I look at their computer, and I'd do that. And at the end, you know, I'd probably promise a bit too much, and then at the end of the day, I'd be mumbling to myself and grumbling over, why did I do that, you know? And maybe I'd be grumbling about the person I helped, and but it was actually the person I should be grumbling about is myself, because I promised too much. Have you ever done that, Øystein? Have you ever like promised too much and then felt irritated about it afterwards?
It's almost like you put yourself in that situation, and it's like you say, in the beginning when you think about it, it's easy to blame other people and say, you're expecting too much of me, and but in the end it's myself that said, I will do this and I will do that, and like, how can I help you with this, and maybe promising too much, maybe, and asking myself maybe more now, what is my motivation for doing that? Is it an honest heart wanting to really serve and doing it in a balanced and healthy way, or is it me wanting something back and then kind of saying, yes, I will do this, and hoping, you know, that they will maybe recognize my willing heart and give me a tap on the shoulder and say, well done, is that what I'm seeking? And I guess that's probably the essence of maybe being a people pleaser, that instead of really wanting to serve, it's more being recognized. And I've struggled a lot with that, so yeah, sure, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I think, you know, we made fun about it before, but I think it's something that a lot of people, well, you know, maybe most people, I don't know, a lot of people definitely struggle with. you could take the analogy of a job interview. You know, when you go to a job interview for the first time, you want to show your best side. You want to just show all the good things about yourself, you know, and if you're asked about your weaknesses, it's like, okay. But that's that. I mean, I guess that's a good thing as well, you know, we've got to know our weaknesses.
Yeah.
But you know what? Do you know who else has, promised a lot but couldn't deliver?
I can think of a few people. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the old coach of Arsenal, Unai Emery. You know.
Oh, yeah.
So
what did he promise?
Just to explain to our international listeners or American listeners, me and Einstein, we love a game called football, and in America, and in America, you guys call it
real
soccer.
Football.
Yeah, real football. You guys call it soccer in America, and you're starting to get into it, which is good. You know, that's a good thing. So. But we support, I support a team called Arsenal, and Øystein, he unfortunately supports a little team called Manchester United.
Ooh.
But Arsenal has not been having a good time lately. We had a coach called Unai Emery, and he was apparently, when he went to the job interview, he had a whole presentation. He'd put everything on a PowerPoint.
Yeah,
and he had shown the board each player and all their strengths, and he had apparently he'd been really impressive in the job interview.
Yeah,
and they gave him the job. Yeah. And it all started off quite well. He started off with a good job. He went on a good run, but things started falling apart. Yeah, and then he started being too clever. He started putting players in the wrong positions, and they played out of position, and then the team just got sick of it, and they started playing really, really badly. So it looked like he had, he'd kind of lost it. He'd lost the dressing room, as they say in sporting, and it just got worse and worse and worse until eventually he got sacked. So this is a case of someone who promised the world, but
Rodger
couldn't deliver.
The thing is, I have done exactly the same. Not for an interview to be a football coach, but I had a job interview and I wasn't really that qualified for it. But I had some experience, and I had some thoughts about my strength and what I could offer and what I could bring to the team. And I think I sounded really impressive in that job interview. I could tell them, what I saw for the future for this team, and what I could change, and the culture of the team, and how we could get the team to do a better job and create a good culture and a good environment for the employees. And I got the job. And I was kind of, wow, I got the job. Praise the Lord. Thank God. I was like, this is a God opportunity. And the thing is, I have been thinking like, okay, maybe I promised too much. Maybe I said something about who I am and what I could do in this situation that I'm not really sure that I had the strategies or the strength to accomplish and to do. So I had a tough time there, because when the nitty-gritty things of every day and all the stuff that I had to face in that environment in the workplace, it was too much. I wasn't able to handle it, and it kind of wore me out. So I definitely know that it's easy to say something and promise something and not being able to deliver, and then you feel like a failure when you can't. But the problem isn't that I'm a failure or I'm not, but I probably set myself up for failure when I said I could do something that maybe I couldn't. So
yeah. Well, at what point did you actually realize that you were like in over your depth? Was there like a point where you kind of realized it, or was it straight away? Was it like
First day.
A good start.
Maybe after a week, but no, it's like when you're in a new job situation, you say to yourself, well, I'm new, so I have to learn. There's lots of stuff that I have to, find out, and it takes time. And I gave myself maybe 6 months, and then we'll see how it goes. But in my heart, in my inner man, I had this sense that, oh no, I hope they don't find out that I can't do this,
I think there's lots of people in the jobs around the world that are saying that to themselves.
Yeah. So I think in that interview, and maybe to the people around me, that it was kind of driven by this sense, hope they like me, hope they appreciate who I am, and I almost like sold myself to make them appreciate me, and it's that's what I'm kind of learning. How do I serve people? How can I say yes to people and like be part of something and serve God and help other people without being someone else or trying to be better than I am.
I remember back when I was doing computers and stuff like that and multimedia, I was actually pretty good with computers, pretty good with multimedia myself, and I was actually studying first at this college that worked with computers, multimedia, 3D design and stuff like that, 3D animation programs and stuff like that. So it's all exciting stuff. And I actually went on a course to learn how to do this. Yeah. And I was actually so good at it that they gave me a job.
Yeah.
So, but they gave me a job as a teacher.
Oh.
So, and I've never tried that before. I actually think my gift, one of my spiritual gifts, or one of my giftings, is teaching.
Yeah.
That's something I've worked through for my entire life. But back then, I was pretty inexperienced, and it was a time in my life in my 20s. I was there. Okay, I can do anything. I can conquer the world. I can do anything. So I said yes to this job.
Yeah.
And thing is, I was quite good at the computer bit about it, and I was quite good at explaining how to do stuff and helping the students. But it was also a college that helped young people get back into the workplace.
Oh.
So it would be like, they would get an experience with computers and stuff like that in order to get a job. And of course, not everyone can be a 3D designer for Disney. I mean, so, I remember I really showed my inexperience once when we were having a meeting with the boss, the big boss, the leader for the school and everyone. And he said, "No, well, what do you reckon, Rodger? What kind of percentage of the students are going to be able to get a job after this course?" Because I was leading the course, and I think I said something like, "Oh, maybe 10% if you're lucky," And I was excited about the computer part of it and teaching stuff, but I wasn't showing any vision to help these people go out and get a job, no matter what it would be. Yeah. And so, I really shot myself in the foot there. And it wasn't long after that I got fired. So
okay, yeah.
So I mean, I was good on the technical side of stuff like that, but I didn't have the experience really to help people get further, go on to get a job and stuff like that. So, and I think so. In hindsight, it was pretty fair.
Yeah, but how can we then recognize Because sometimes we can't know everything before we start, and we have to learn and we have to grow and get experience as we step into things that we don't really know. So how can we know when to say yes? Like, I should take on this challenge, if you like, and do this even if I don't know everything. And when should we just say, no, this is not for me? Maybe for someone else. I'm supposed to do something else. How can we know that, Rodger? Have we learned anything?
Oh, yeah. It's a big question, I guess. Oh, it's not easy, but I guess it's learning about yourself is part of it, I guess. One thing, I guess one thing that I know now, or I know more now than I did back then, is my own strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
So, and also learning to be honest when you don't think you can do it. So I think today, if I was going to a job interview today, I would be more honest. I would say, this and this I've got experience with, I've done before, and I've had success with. But in regarding this and this area, I'm gonna probably need a bit of help, because maybe I promise too much, or I want to do too much, and then I find myself a bit out of depth, and then I might need a bit of help getting out of that hole. So I think finding out who you are yourself, and often you need other people to help you to see your blind spots, to see where you're not strong. So I guess being honest with yourself, I guess, would you agree with that? That's one of the things.
Absolutely. I think sometimes we might be too, critical about ourselves. Like, we tell ourselves that, I can't do this and I shouldn't be doing this. But that's maybe not knowing yourself either. It's sometimes we're just kind of, I shouldn't stick out, I shouldn't be doing this. The old Jante law that is maybe more relevant for the Nordic countries, and how we don't like when people stick out. And
actually, some other countries have this similar thing, which is called tall poppy syndrome. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Yeah.
Where the poppies that grow high, they're kind of brought down by the poppies that are lower. So so it does exist in other countries as well. Maybe not so much in some countries. But it's this funny thing that we see people succeed, and we see people doing well, and we want to try and find holes in that. We want to try and bring them down a bit, because don't get too far ahead, and because then I'll feel bad, and but probably getting a bit off topic here, but it's important as well to realize that when you see people doing well, or you see your friends doing well, then to back them up and say, wow, well done, it's awesome, and not to think too much about yourself, because God has a time for you as well, I guess.
And I think we can relate that to the topic of fear of God, not having fear of men. Because when we know who we are, and I think when we have confidence in who we are, not in a like strange way, either good or bad, but an honest and a true confidence about who we are, we can know that God loves us, and we can know that I'm all right. I have something to bring and give to other people, and learn more about how that looks. We're not threatened by other people, and we can let them do what they do and be who they are. So I think having confidence and trusting God helps us not to have fear of men.
Yeah, and going back to the pleasing thing, that's I guess that's how we can have fear of man in a way, because if we maybe we have a leader, or maybe we have someone above us at work or anything like that, and you maybe You can please them sometimes to get ahead. Maybe you can please them for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to get a promotion or something, and you do lots of things that are visible to them. Bring them a cup of coffee. It could be anything. Just doing small things. Oh, I'll do this for you, and I'll do that for you.
Yeah.
But it's like doing things for your own. You've got a motivation problem there. There's you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And as I was thinking, there's a Bible verse about that. Galatians 1:10, it says, "For am I now seeking the approval of man or of God, or am I trying to please man? If I were still trying to please man, I would not be a servant of Christ."
Yeah.
And again, it's a case of our motivations wanting to please God first, because God sees everything. So if we really, in that situation, for example, that work situation, if you wanted to be a good servant in your organization, you would do stuff to benefit the whole organization, not just your boss. Or you would do stuff that people would not necessarily see, but at the end, but it would benefit the organization. So I think part of it is sometimes we do stuff in order that other people see it, in order that can make us feel good and maybe gives us an advantage, and that is kind of pleasing man, isn't it, and not pleasing God.
Just doing a lot of stuff is not really always the right thing to do. It's about doing the right stuff, the things that are helpful, and we also need to be able to say no sometimes, and that's the right thing to do. It's the best thing you can do, maybe for that person as well, to just say, okay, I can't do this now, or no, ask someone else. Because that's also respect. Like when I say, if I say yes and I can't follow it through, it's like I'm disregarding and I'm not being respectful to that person. So I think my challenge sometimes is to kind of just, okay, no, this feels awkward, but I have to say no to this, or else I am not doing what I'm supposed to do. And so for some people that's easy, but for me that's not always so easy.
No, it's not easy. And I mean, just to reference something from the Bible as well, I think it's kind of related. It's from Matthew 5, and it's Jesus, his Sermon on the Mount, and he's talking about oaths. Mainly, I think it's mainly about oaths to God, like promising something to God, and then swearing by something greater than yourself, and that was very much something they did in biblical times. I swear by this or that, and Jesus, talks against it and says, look, it's not about oaths, it's not about, you can't do this. He was talking against the religiosity of the time. Matthew 5 verse 37 in the NIV, it says, all you need to say is simply yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. I think it's important to be able to say yes or no in a situation. And I'm learning this. I'm not totally great at this. I'm not, because sometimes, because I feel like it is my gift in serving, I don't always do it because of my own motivation. I really do it sometimes because I want to serve God. But sometimes I feel like I've taken on too much, and that makes me feel stressed. I'm still working on that.
And I guess the only way to learn is to actually say no when you don't feel like doing that, because you don't know how that's going to work out, but actually experience that, okay, I'm saying no to this, and maybe that person won't like this, and what would that person think about me if I say no? And but actually just doing it, for me, it's I'm learning this. and doing it with a good attitude. That's just like, okay, I have to set this boundary for different reasons, and experiencing that's okay. No one's going to hate me for that, because they just know where they have me. So, but when you're used to just saying yes, it's kind of, we fear saying no because we don't really know how that's going to work out.
Yeah. And I'm learning that. I'm learning to say no. I'm learning when to say no. But I guess if you're in a situation where you don't know what to say, yes or no, you can just say, well, I'm just going to have time to think about this. I guess that's what you can do as well, and say, I've got to think about this, so I'll give you an answer next week, or I'll give you an answer next month, whatever.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I was just thinking that scripture I read from Matthew 5. I just thought it worded it so well in the Message. I know the Message is it's a paraphrase, but it actually sounds pretty good and quite relevant. So if it's okay, I'm just going to read it in Matthew. So I think quite sums it up quite well. It says, "And don't say anything you don't mean. This counsel is embedded deep in our traditions. You only make things worse when you lay down a smokescreen of pious talk, saying, 'I'll pray for you,' and never doing it, or saying, 'God be with you,' and not meaning it. You don't make your words true by embellishing them with religious lace." I love that. In making your speech sound more religious, it just becomes less true. Just say yes and no. When you manipulate words to get your own way, you go wrong.
That's right. Wow. It's tough, but it's true.
Yeah. It's true. And, and sometimes, so back to the whole motivations things. If you want to get someone to do what you want them to do, then you can use like naughty weapons like this, by religious language, or making it sound like it's God's will, or using flattery instead of encouragement and stuff like that.
It's true.
But like I say, that's probably a whole new subject on a podcast some other time.
Yeah, but I like that. It's good. I like when leaders. I learned to appreciate leaders more and more that don't affirm just your gifts and your talents. When I was younger, I was encouraged more, like when people recognized that they saw, you're called to this, and you have this gift, and you can serve in this area, and of course that's important, especially when you're young, I guess, to find out that. But more and more, I appreciate leaders who sees my heart more than my talents or my gifts.
Yeah.
Because then I realize that they are stewards, like they are pastors. They are more than just encouragers or leaders that want to kind of build people up.
Yeah.
So when it was last night actually, I was at a prayer meeting, and as usual, we shared words for each other when we prayed together, and we prayed for each other. And I was also in the flow of just praying out stuff to people and encouraging them. And then when this leader prayed for me back, she got this word that there's new life, like bubbling from the inside of your heart. It's going to come more, it's going to be stronger, and it's going to give you strength. And I was just like, oh, doesn't it seem like I have strength? Kind of my first thought was doesn't it seem that I have life? Didn't you just hear all my prayers? And then I was kind of, oh no, that's true. She saw my heart. She kind of recognized that I need in my heart life, and I need it more, and I need to grow in my relationship with God in my everyday life. And it's not about my gift, it's not about my prayers, it's not about my about everything I can say or pray. So I went home and just that's really good. That's because it's true, and it's about separating my heart from gifts.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good point. And I think when we talked before about having also people that can speak into your life and can speak truths to you, like your family or it's also important to have the right voices around you.
Yeah.
To make sure that, the people around you are, they're going to tell you the truth about yourself, but also they're going to be encouraging in the right way.
Yeah.
So they're going to encourage you and not flatter you. They're going to encourage you to growth in your life.
Yes.
And not just going to say things to make you feel good.
Yeah.
So surround. I think important is surrounding yourself with the right voices as well. So sorting these voices around you. It's important.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, Øystein, I think we're probably wrapping up there, aren't we?
Yeah, we have said a lot of things. I'm not sure what we really said, but hopefully it's been helpful to someone. And it definitely makes me think more about this. And
yeah, well, it's we want this to be real. We want this to be real talk. We want it to be honest. So, if this is any way has kind of blessed you, people who've been listening, if it's blessed you, or if you have questions about it, or if you don't agree with us, that's totally fine. Hook up with us on Twitter, whatever. Go to our website, talkingtheology.com. You see links at the bottom there. There's links to Facebook, there's links to Twitter, there's links to Instagram. So hook us up. Probably the best place is Twitter if you want to have a chat with both me and Øystein. Look us up there. Send us a comment or something like that.
Good talking to you, Rodger, and I appreciated this. So thank you to everyone who's been listening, and we'll be back sometime soon with another podcast. So God bless you and have a great day.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.